Hello and welcome to the garden. So, you can probably tell from the title, this video is about Schefflera Nova. And I've been prompted to make this video for a number of reasons. First of all, I want to ID this plant. And there does seem to be a lack of understanding of what Schefflera Nova actually is. And I am one of the biggest, I fall into that category 100%. I've probably got a bit more of an understanding now because I've done a bit of reading and I put stuff on social media in various groups that deal with Scheffleras and stuff like that. Got some quite good answers, and then you hear people say, my Schefflera Nova is different than your Schefflera Nova. Well, hopefully, if I've got my facts right, and it comes over right in this video, you'll see why they're different. Because I made some notes to make sure I get everything in. Yeah, and I want to ID this plant as well, so we'll come to that. And also with some of the plants that are called Nova, they're very similar to another one called Fengii as well, which kind of throws, especially when it comes to the idea of this. More of that later. Right, so Nova means new. I mentioned it in a video a while ago. And there's a couple of plants that have the name Nova attached to them at the moment, and there's a reason they got Nova, and yeah, and there's a reason it applies to several plants. There's, as far as I'm aware, just two NJM plants, so that's Nick Macer at collected by Nick Macer at Pan Global Plants. And I asked somebody else a couple of days ago, how many plants are in your collection that have the name Nova, and they said 4. So, and 2 of them were the NJM plants. So I asked a question about this plant on a Facebook group called Planet Aurelia Schefflera. Really good group. I got shot down, did I? I got the answers, it's futile and useless and impossible without a collection number, which is very correct. But I haven't got a collection number. When I tell you the story behind this plant, you can see why I asked, hello Bob, you can see why I asked the question in the way I did. And yes, I got shot down in flames, I did. But the person who gave me the most helpful answer was Nick Macer of Pan Global Plants. And I'm going to read what he said because it does explain it quite well, especially in regard to the 2 collections he made. So before giving the title Species Nova to either of the species in question above, this is referring to the plants he collected. One from North Vietnam, which is NJM 10.086, and then the other from Nagaland, I think it is, which is he just put NGM 13. I think he forgot the number. I consulted one of, if not the world expert in Schefflera, David Frodin, who had recently retired from Kew and who's now sadly passed away. I showed him detailed photos of the foliage and I can never say that word. He pronounced both to be undescribed species. Whether he was correct in these assertions remains to be seen. Before making any rash claims about any species, I recommend detailed study of foliage stem, inflorescence, infructuous detail, otherwise you're wasting your time. And then he went on to add, in order to name a new species, you really have to know it is different to all the others and be able to prove it. You need to lay it out in a peer-reviewed journal. You need to have done some serious research. Taxonomy is, after all, a science. And you know my garden, I've got lots of Berindas, and most of them have just got collection numbers. And I have seen some of the work done by Chris Stapleton, who's been through that process. And I also think he's one of the people who does that kind of peer review thing. It's not something that happens overnight. So yeah, until something gets formally identified, especially these plants in the Schefflera world that seem to be looking quite similar, they are Schefflera Nova, I guess. Please comment if I'm talking absolute bollocks, but that's the way I see it. Yeah, so right, have I got everything in? Yes. Right, so I have one plant which is planted over there, which we're going to look at in a minute, which I bought from Desert to Jungle, and I messaged Rob and he said it is an NJM collection. He didn't have the number. He said, I will find out if you want to. So we're going to have a look at that one, and then I tell you what, we'll go and do that now because I've just been talking for way too long. Nice plant, this. multi-stemmed. Some new growth up there. Good size now, probably about a metre tall, so I made the decision to plant it. So there we go. So that is the NGM plant from desert to jungle. Right, so this next plant I bought on July the 3rd, 2022 at Plant Fair in Devon. I did a right load of digging to try and work out when it was, and I spoke to the person I bought it off. So I bought it off Mike Clifford, and it was labelled Schefflera macrophylla. And I'm going to put a picture in now of the plant I bought back then. And you know, clearly seeds got mixed up because it isn't macrophylla. And I asked Mike, and Mike, if you're watching this video, thanks for your time last week. I really appreciate it because it's kind of helped get a little bit of background on this, and still no further on IDing it, and hopefully that'll come out of this video. Yeah, so bought it in July 2022. It's grown really well, and Mike actually mentioned I think he's sorry he sold it to me now, because it is a stunning looking plant. What I'm going to do now is just stick in a picture of the tiny seedling I bought back then. So this is what the plant looks like now. That is really, really good growth. And up until recently, I hadn't put this plant that close side by side with the NGM plant that we just looked at. But I did notice the leaves look very, very similar. I mean, it became apparent really quick. It wasn't macrophylla. And it's grown really well. It's bigger than the other one. But I did notice one very distinct difference on the leaves. And we'll go and take a look at that now, because I'm going to put this one at the side of the other one. I should have picked a less windy day to do this. But last week, I tried to do this last week, but it was too sunny. Not going to complain about that though. So that is the NGM plant, and the one real big difference I've noticed, there is a difference in the texturing of the leaf, but is the is the midrib. Probably can't see it as much on that one, but the midrib on the NGM, and I don't know if this is significant, by the way, I'm just throwing it out there, is a lot lighter than the midrib on this one. And the patterning on the leaf is slightly different. The veins seem to kind of follow a similar pattern. But that midrib is a lot lighter. Same red petioles. Red is my best description. I am colourblind, but yeah, reddy purple, I guess. Yeah, that is the one thing that really stands out, and that is the midrib, which is a lot lighter on this. I think the leaves are possibly a little bit smaller, maybe. When you can see it there, it really stands out, the midrib on the NGM plant compared to this one. So, if you can help me out with an ID, it would be much appreciated. Please leave a comment. So that's it. I hope I've got my facts right, and it's proved maybe useful. But yeah, there are plants called Nova. There's several different types, and it's because they have not been formally identified. If you buy one of these plants, try and get a collection number. That's all there is to it, really. Right, that's it. I'm going to get a beer. Cheerio.